Hello, my name is Blake Eccleston. I am here to present my persuasive presentation for my professional communication class. Unfortunately, I was not able to come up with five people as an audience, so as best I can to simulate a live environment, I will just be doing one take without stopping if I make mistakes. That said, please bear with me. I am doing my best. Um, I chose the topic diversity. I've thought a lot about that in recent years, what it means, how it can be applied, how it can be useful, especially in the business world. So I'll be talking about that today. Um, anyway, here we go. Let's strap in for the ride. Ladies and gentlemen, keep your hands inside at all times. Here we go. Anyway, hello, good afternoon. My name is Blake Eccleston. I'm here to talk to you about diversity. Diversity is an interesting word. It's had a long history. I would say we've been using that word for the past 60 years. It's an interesting word. I don't particularly like it these days. I feel like it's almost too nebulous. Like when you say diversity, it's hard to know what you're talking about because it can apply to many different areas, personal in your personal life, in the business world, in your business, whatever it is, your church or communities. It means a lot of different things, and I feel like the term has come to envelop so many things that it is difficult, in a sense, to pin down what we mean. So I'd like to start by clarifying a few terms. When I say diversity, I mean specifically, I'm talking specifically about the business world today. We're not talking about personal lives or your communities or anything like that, as this is a business class. The diversity in the workplace, I think, began as a concept about 60, 70 years ago with the idea that all equal opportunity ideas, right? The equal opportunity laws, saying requiring quotas, percentages, protecting against discrimination based on race, religion, sexual orientation. And there are many categories added over the years. The idea behind diversity, firstly, was that all Americans deserve the right to work, and that discrimination based on these things is a bad thing. What it's come to mean more recently is that diversity is a positive. It's not just something that should be, it's something that needs to be for growth and for increased opportunity in the workplace. And what I don't think that's been thought out very clearly. I think diversity has been taken to mean, I think the idea that diversity is a good thing in the workplace is true, beyond a shadow of a doubt. But I think it's used in the wrong context. For instance, I believe what we mean by diversity, it seems, is the protected classes, right? Race, gender, religion, sexual orientation, those classes. And the idea is having much diversity must mean having a richer, more thought out workplace. Like, because you have all these different backgrounds, therefore when you approach a problem, you have all these different viewpoints to approach it from. And I understand the premise, and I don't believe it's wrong, but I think it's left something out. The idea of diversity, there's the difference between diversity of background and diversity of thought. I think the idea that it's almost as if we reduce diversity to people's trappings, people's outside qualities that really have nothing to do with who they are as an individual, right? So it's like, just because you're a certain race doesn't mean you have to think a certain way. There could be many, there's all kinds of different people that think different ways. You have analytics, you have creative thinkers, you have all these different ways of thinking, all these different types of personalities within each demographic. It's almost doesn't matter what the demographic is. You can find all kinds of diversity of thought. And I think it can be dangerous to forget that. I think if you have an organization made up with people of all kinds of races and all kinds of religions, all kinds of sexual orientation, that's all well and good. But if they all think the same way, then you've kind of missed the benefit from a business perspective of diversity. I don't want 15 people who think the same way to solve my problem. I'll settle for 3 people who could think 3 different ways. That would be better for me than 15 people who all think the same way. Diversity of thought is the most important thing. And I think there's certain demographics that maybe reflect that better. Religion, for instance, I would assume that if two people come from different religious backgrounds, then they would have different views on the world and different viewpoints. That could be useful. I don't think, though, that, for instance, there's quotas on race, right? Businesses are required to have a certain percentage of their hires. I'm not 100% sure how the math works, but businesses are required to have a certain percentage of their employees be from certain minorities. And the purpose of those laws was to get the American public integrated to the idea of having diverse workplaces and to working with people who are different from themselves. The laws were not designed to continue into the future, right? I think they were built for one thing, and we've used them for something else without redesigning them. I think they should be looked at again and redesigned. I'm not sure how. I don't know. I don't know that much. I think that the problem with that is people become so focused on having the right numbers of people, they forget about the people. They don't look at people as individuals and just human beings. They look at them based on their gender, their identity. What's your gender? What's your race? What's your orientation? That's become almost, their group identities are more important than their own thoughts, their own way of processing, their own personalities, right? And I don't think that that's helpful to the business community. I think we need to reevaluate how we approach diversity. I think we would be better served to focus on diversity of thought, analyzing people based on their individual selves, rather than how they fit into some larger demographic. So that's kind of what diversity has been. It's been a quota. I think what it is now more than ever is that. I think it's mostly a quota, and then now it's become a more complex issue with questions of equity and redistribution of wealth, which we won't get into. Kind of the idea that equality of outcome is important, that these different demographics should have similar outcomes, and that these laws need to be corrected in a way that affects the outcomes. So that's not the main purpose of our speech, but I think that's important to keep in mind. When we look at diversity in the future, I think the best way to look at it would be to see people for individuals, to put aside their identities as a groups, because I don't need a group to work on my marketing project. I don't need a group to solve this engineering problem. I need different individuals with unique minds who approach problems in their own unique way. That's what's going to make my business better. That's what's going to propel us and keep us competitive for years to come. I think that's the best approach. I believe it with 100% of my being. That's what we need as a community. Anyway, I've taken up enough of your time. I appreciate you listening to me. I hope you take something I've said and can bring it with you into the future. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.